Coach Driving Diaries number 12, and in this episode we are covering our day trip operations, just giving you an insight to what we do, so more of that a bit later on. But today's one is a weekday trip, which is to Poole and Sandbanks. So we're getting up at 20 past 6 and getting ready, doing the usual routine, and then into the car, and then on my way to the yard. So at the yard, go to my drawer and pick up my folder. We'll have a look at this in just a moment, but just going to my coach now. So today we have the new Irizar CT25 CCT, which we've covered a couple of times on this channel. It's the mirrorless Irizar. Right, so my card is in, done the manual entry and done the walk round check. As I say, we're skipping all that out on the video just to concentrate here on the day trip part. So let's go straight to the folder, and here is the seating plan. On the left rows there is the near side, and on the right is the offside, hence the gap in the middle on the right. That's obviously where the emergency door and toilet would be. So corresponding with this list, obviously I've blanked the names out, that's what the white squares are for there, is where I'd put the seat labels. And these would be in my folder, so I'd have a stack for the near side and another stack for the offside. So I usually do these in side order first. I do one side and then go down the other side afterwards. And then I can correspond with that seating plan sheet. Just make sure the labels are in the right place. So also in the folder is the timetable, probably the most important thing we need as well. Obviously this has the passengers at each stop, so again I've blanked out the personal information, but basically you read this from top to bottom. So the start place is at the top there, Melkshire Marketplace at 0840, and then 0900 hours at Manvers Street, 0904 at Black Horse and Trowbridge, etc. As you can see, you work your way down. Also on here on the right has the seat numbers, which tallies up with the seating plan, which is handy because I can just use this page as I check everyone on. And I know that A and B would be the near side, and C and D on the off side, because I can just remember that D is driver's side. It's a nice reference, that. This was taken after the day trip, hence some of these, obviously I've checked them off here, and the note below there has Canex. That's my note for when someone's cancelled. So we had 3 cancellations today, so I'd cross out the total passengers. This is the second page, so it shows the last stop, and change that to 29. And just a little note there as well, so I know how many people have gone to Sandbanks, so I know how many I need to pick up there, but more on that later on. So with all that done, seat labels out, etc., which is about ready to go. All I need to do now is set up the sat-nav for Poole. So I'm just moving around the map, sort of looking at the sat-nav through the phone camera, so it's making it a bit difficult trying to find it. Just trying to find Poole Quays. So there it is. This is the one of the drop-offs by the Poole Potteries. So I've got the live traffic on as well. It's one of the reasons mostly why I've got this on. I'm going to ignore most of the routes down anyway, and obviously this is set from Westbury. I'm going to leave it as it is, so I don't bother plotting the route through the pickup points. So here we are at Melksham, approaching our first stop at the Melksham Marketplace. Getting here for about 8:25 or so, and left only 10 minutes after that. So we left 5 minutes early because we had everyone on that was getting on here. So what we'll do in a moment is we'll show you the route in full from Melksham to Warminster, but obviously this takes about 50 minutes to an hour in normal time, so we'll do a whiz through with a time lapse, condensing it down to just a few minutes. Yes, good. All expecting to go to Poole in Sandbanks?
Yeah.
Yes, all on the right coach. That's the main thing then. I've tallied up the right numbers. We're all here. First things first, we'll do the safety announcements first. Get that out of the way. Okay. So the emergency exit is one at the door that you came through, or you should have came through. Okay. So pull the red handle, that dumps the door, and you can push the door open. It's the same down the stairs on the middle on your right hand side. Okay. Also by the windows, so these red hammers. You'll soon feel that be behind you. Okay, and then the glasses are marked with the green exit sign. You just crack the glass and approach the glass. Okay, that's in an emergency. That's not when we get to Poole. I don't want to climbing out the windows when we get there. All right. Right. So our schedule. We're off to Poole first, and then Sandbanks. Okay. Remember, it's Poole or Sandbanks, not Poole and Sandbanks. So you either have the day at Poole or you have the day at Sandbanks. Okay. We'll probably give you, depending on what time we get there, maybe 4.5 hours at Poole, and then Sandbanks might be about 3.5 4 hours there. Okay. So we should be there between 11 and 12 roughly. That's probably the rough ETA at the moment. So that's just a small demonstration of the introduction speech. Obviously that wasn't the full thing, just trying to cut that down a bit. So anyway, with everyone on, we're on our way to Poole. This is the route that I took, just down the 350 to Shaftesbury, cutting off then across the A30 to Ludwell, and then down towards Compton Abbas Airfield, and down the road there that's parallel the A350, and we rejoin the A350 at Blandford Forum and take that all the way down to Poole. It's only about 45 miles or so from Warminster to Poole. So just leaving Poole, just set down those who wanted to spend the day here. We got here about 11:45, so did very good for time there. So what I'm going to do now is spin round on this roundabout. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it in one. I know I've done it in one go with the Temsa. That's got quite a good turning circle on it. I know this one's a bit sort of like turning a boat around. The turning circle, the Irizars aren't as good as the Temsa, I find. Despite taking a wide swing, I found I still couldn't get it around. So just doing a slight shunt and get myself around then. So the route to Sandbanks is fairly straightforward anyway, but as you can probably tell from now, it's not exactly just round the corner either. It's a good 5 miles between the two places, or the stop we were just at to where we're going now. So we're nearly there. You can see the sea's rather choppy on this day. And what we're going to do is sit down at the bus stop, which is just round on the right hand side from this roundabout, just where that bus was pulling out from, so just there. So you can just use this roundabout to turn around at and sit down, and we'll pick up on the same side at the same stop as well. So after dropping everyone off, it's then time to go back to Poole to park up. This is the dodgy angle that I thought was going to work, but obviously not, because you've got the curtain pillar there. I thought it was angled more looking out the front windscreen and the mirror there, but obviously not. Oh well. So this is the route back to Poole. Parking at Southdown Coach Park, which is next to the bus station. And here we are coming into Southdown Coach Park. You see it's just off here to the right and then straight on. This is also where Flixbus and National Express go from as well. But we park on the bays on the right. As you see, they're angled out, facing out the other way. So you can just use the area at the end to spin round and then reverse into one of the bays. So at about 3 hours parked up. First of all, had some lunch I brought with me, and then met one of my friends who's one of the managers at Go South Coast, at the Poole office, just at the bus station there. And then after that, walked off to find Greg's. Couldn't find it initially, walking around the shopping centre, and couldn't figure out where exactly it was, so with the help of Google Maps, finally found Greg's. Got myself a coffee there. So I shall expand a bit more about our day trip operation. Here's an example brochure. This is the current one from June till October 25. Now the day trips are usually on a Saturday and Sunday, operating throughout the year. The weekday trips are usually done when it's the school holidays, so the half term, and this one, for example, I'm doing this as a weekday one, and it was in August. Most of our ones in August are seaside trips. We have Bournemouth, Weymouth, and see this one, Poole as well. The day trips otherwise on the weekends are driven by a dedicated driver who would do all of them. He's sort of semi-retired anyway, so he just works the weekends. When it comes to the weekday trips, it's operated by any of us full-time drivers. So as you can see, we're on the August page, so here's some of the weekday trips there. There's Poole Sandbanks, the one we're doing. And then as it progresses into September and the schools are back, you can see the day trips revert back to just running on the weekends. So about 3:15, 20 past 3 I think it was, thereabouts, setting off empty back to Sandbanks to pick up the 6 that were getting off there. Trying to time it as well, using bus times. Use that quite a lot, which is quite handy when you want to figure out if there's a slot at the bus stop where you're not going to get in the way of the services. So I thought I'd leave it a bit late and get there just in time when the buses come through. And luckily as I was coming down, there's one of the buses that's got clear the bus stop at least, and saw the other one earlier as well. So at least know when I come in I'm not going to be blocking the open top tour buses. So we're back in Sandbanks, coming back round the roundabouts and picking up at that bus stop. Then after here, making our way back through to Poole to pick up the rest of our customers who spent the day in the town. So with everyone on board and having double checked the numbers, just to double check we definitely are all back, always worth doing, we are now making our way back to our first set down points at Warminster. And from there we'd run in reverse order to the timetable that you saw earlier. So running backwards, so it'd be through Westbury, Trowbridge and then finishing at Melksham. So just also shown just little segments here, the A350 coming back. So this is the bit between Blandford Forum and Shaftesbury. Although it's a main road, it's certainly not a fast road by any means. Actually, in some respects, I don't really feel like I'm on an A road. It feels more like a B road. As you say, you certainly don't rush it up here. There's a lot of sharp bends, a lot of blind spots and a few pinch points in a handful of places as well. So here we are back at Melksham, getting back here for about 7 PM, and then once everyone's off, just walking through the coach, just make sure there's no belongings left on board and do up the seatbelts as well. Now I could do this at the yard, but I do like to do it here just to stretch out for a bit out the driving seat. And on the way back to the yard, just pulled into the BP garage to fill up with diesel, just to top the tanks up. And here we are back at the yard. Don't need to do any cleaning to it tonight, because I'm in tomorrow all day on a yard day, so I can clean the inside and out tomorrow. So also while I'm at the yard and while I think of it to record this bit, you may remember in one of the videos I did, I think it was the first drive or London trip or something, I was explaining about the speed warning sign it has, so it can read the speed limits and lets you know if you're speeding or not. But it's in kilometers an hour and not miles an hour. I haven't figured out a way of turning it into miles an hour yet, but I've figured out a way of turning out the audible warning you get every time the speed limit changes. So you can go into the vehicle configurations and into the driver assist settings and then uncheck the speed limit warning. Once you've done that, you'll see the sign now. You get a speaker with a cross through it. You can just see it there. So that now means it's muted, so it will no longer beep every time the speed limit changes. So finishing at 10 to 8 and putting the card out, and that brings the end of this shift and the end of this video. So I do hope you've enjoyed this episode today and given a bit of an insight to how our day trips work and what we do. And I don't know what the next video will be, but as always, like and subscribe for more of these videos, and until then I shall see you on the next one. Okay, take care, thank you, and goodbye.